because of the lack of suspect, the internet is rife with theories about why this has happened, and we're going to talk about them, and I want to be very, very clear that I do not endorse any of these theories. I don't know what has happened here, and I think that anyone who says that they do know is someone who is claiming a level of knowledge that they don't actually have. And also, I think it can be quite irresponsible. Now, when this first happened, I was tweeting enraged like everyone else because I'm only human as everyone else is. But after sleeping on it and waking up this morning, I've realized that actually we don't know who's behind this. We don't know why this has been done, and we don't know what this is an expression of. And it could well be that it's not something that comes from within the United States. It could be something external that is using this political assassination, which is clearly what this is, as a way of further riling up division in the United States. And I don't want to be accused of doing that myself, because I actually think that might be a very bad thing. So just to be very, very clear, I'm not saying this is the left. I may have tweeted that, and I should probably go back and delete those tweets. But on reflection, after calming down, I actually do agree with those more level heads who said, well, we don't know who this was. And that's a good point. Because, I mean, I was tweeting when it was the boomer who was arrested. It was like, right, he's a boomer Democrat. It's like, okay, then there we go. We've got our shooter and we know why he did it. But if it's not him, then that actually does change the facts. So anyway, the governor of Utah said, just flat out, this is a political assassination. And there seems to be, there's no doubt about that. It's hard to imagine that there could be a person who would want to shoot Charlie Kirk for reasons that were non-political.
There are no reasons.
No, he was an express. Exactly. I mean, for like, if you were going to speak about him as a man outside of politics, he seems to have been a completely cut and dried, upstanding father and husband.
There's no way that Charlie Kirk owes somebody money, slept with somebody's wife. There's he was a good and decent man, and he was reasonable. He was killed because somebody somewhere was making some sort of political point.
Yes, it is obviously going to be somehow political. So I concur with Governor Cox there.
Just quickly to build on that, there's kind of only two reasons. One, they're just a straight up political enemy of Charlie Kirk. They like hated his views on whatever, abortion or whatever, or just his right-leaning views, his Republican MAGA views. Or the other possibility is, as you say, something almost entirely outside of America, and it's a calculated agent provocateur 3D chess type play somewhere, somehow. They're the only two real... It's one of those two things, surely.
I would assume so. But until we have some information on who the shooter was, it's really hard to say. So the... Excuse me. Like I said, what I'm going to do is just document the theories that are currently going around at the time without co-signing or endorsing any of them. So the first one was the trans theory. So this was posted on Twitter the day before Charlie went to Utah Valley University. As you can see, Omar here says, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him. Literally, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. And apparently the person who runs this account is this person. And this
is exactly what was in my head at the early stages.
Yeah, this wouldn't be the first sort of Trantifa, as Andy No calls them, terror, or school shooting, or attempted assassination, or anything like that. So this seems like a plausible potential suspect, but you have to ask yourself, well, is it likely that they were just trying to cause a scene on the internet? Because a lot of people, because if they can make it seem like there's a terror threat that's being called in, then the event would be cancelled, Charlie wouldn't go to his university, and then life would continue as normal, right? So calling in fake threats is something that the left does all the time. I've been at events where they've called in fake bomb threats and things like that. Nothing happened, obviously. And does this person look like they have a plan? I'm not sure they look like they have a plan. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to escape all authorities and flee the scene and never be caught.
Well, I mean, maybe when she was still a boy, his dad took him hunting.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
One thing I'll say is I tend to agree with you, but you never know.
You don't know, and I'm not saying
what people look like doesn't betray what they're actually capable of.
Completely true.
It can.
It can, but not always. But not always.
But you are completely right. So this is one theory, is that is a radical transgender person, and that has plausibility because, of course, Charlie Kirk, being a Christian man, has a very biblical view on what a man and a woman is, has a traditional conservative view on whether men and women...
Well, the trans are notching up a number of shootings lately.
They are, and they particularly hate Charlie Kirk because he is persuasive, or was, sorry, I have to use past tense, he was persuasive and influential in arguing against their ideology, and so they nurtured a particular hatred for him in their community, and they still do, and we'll go through some of that in a minute, I'm sure. So that's one potential theory that is currently doing the rounds on the internet. The other one was the boomer radical, which was dismissed by the authorities, but still, I see people saying it, so I mean, it's worth just pointing out that this guy was released, so there's no reason to think that it was him. As the New York Times has confirmed, it's not the guy. Although he did do something really weird, which was yelling, "Shoot me," when he was in police custody. I think we'll watch it.
Shoot me! Shoot me! Was that you? We don't know if it's him or not.
Why was he yelling, "Shoot me"?
I've not seen that clip before. That is odd.
That's really, really weird, isn't it? And so, just why would he?
It's like he's going out of his way to cause a distraction.
Right.
Sure. So the real shooter can make his escape, you mean?
I don't know why. He's
purely for his own ego, or...
Don't know why he's doing
it. We don't know, do we? Yeah. Right, we don't know.
But it's very bizarre indeed.
It's just really peculiar. And like I said, I haven't got any explanations for any of this. So the next one was the mystery sniper on the roof theory, which again is just a theory. Like, we don't know that this guy did this.
Getting right up.
But
yeah, you think he'd already be in place?
There you go. You can see him at the top there,
So,
as you showed earlier. And then, like, you saw him running on the roof, and people pointing out this is quite a distance, 450 feet. So it's not terrible, but like we've said, we've been over this, so I'll carry on. But then you had people pointing out that there was a private jet that left within the hour from the local airport, and that after 30 minutes, it dropped off of the radar, so it turns its own tracking radar off for about an hour.
Didn't think you was allowed to do that under any circumstances.
No, that's illegal. Yeah.
Right.
Because, of course, that makes you blind to all of the planes in the sky.
Crazily dangerous thing.
Yeah, it's insanely dangerous. Would that be enough time to land at a nearby runway and offload a passenger and then take off again? Probably.
This one feels less credible to me because it's such a high-profile way of moving around as opposed to just a rental car, for example.
Sure. Like I said, I don't know, but this is the theory that's going around on the internet, that this was the plane that got him out. And you mentioned, the air traffic wasn't shut down during this time, by the way. So it's plausible that it could have been on there. It's possible. And then, like you say, the chap jumping up, which we saw, which was very strange. What was that? Jumping up was very, very strange. And then you had...
Actually, I don't think that one is strange. I think that's just leftists being leftists.
It could be. It could be, but...
I mean, I've got to be, this is my segment, but the leftist reaction to this, it's not how we would react to a milquetoast leftist commentator getting shot. Their reaction is genuinely different.
Yeah, but I always feel that these people are physical cowards, so I would have thought he'd be at least worried about his own skin. But then you have this chap who's an eyewitness to the event, and he felt that it wasn't just one person acting alone, but several people working together. What's this?
After I got done talking to him, I really couldn't exit because there's such a big crowd. So I turned around, and like 10 to 20 seconds later, after I got done talking to Charlie, I saw that he was shot in the neck and that he was squirting blood everywhere. But I was piecing things together, and it was really weird because the second guest that I talked to, before I went and asked him the question, what I was going to ask him, he was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that. but nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved. So, but prior to that, that's all I saw because everyone was squirming.
So, again, whether there's any truth to this, whether this is just someone who's panicking in the moment and doesn't know what is happening, who knows, right? Again, just presenting what is going around so you're at least aware of it. And so the next thing is the theory that Israel did it. Now, this is something that people on the internet are saying. Don't look at me like that. I'm not saying this is the case. Sorry. I'm not going to pass judgment. I'm just going to tell you what people are saying. So the theory begins with Charlie has been a long-standing supporter of Israel, and this is obviously very publicly and well known. And
for a long time, he was very much their guy.
Very much.
There's a stripe of Christianity which is
evangelical,
truly biblical, right? Where
but he was shifting.
Yes, that's the issue. So about 6 months ago, beginning of the year, that sort of time, Charlie started making some connections. For example, in this clip from January, he asserted that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. And then carrying on, he thought the Epstein files should all be released. And then he started casting aspersions on Patrick Bet-David's podcast about the nature of the October 7th massacre. In fact, we'll watch this clip because it's quite strong, frankly.
So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still have the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order?
See what I mean? That's pretty hard for someone who otherwise is a huge supporter of Israel to begin.
That is somebody shifting their opinion quite strongly.
Yeah. And then you have this from a month ago, which again is very critical, where he's on. I won't.
You and I are both.
He's on Megyn Kelly's podcast, and he's saying that he can't raise any criticisms of Israel without being deemed an anti-Semite, which he takes very, very personally, because of course he wasn't an anti-Semite. And then you had this is one of his more recent ones.
And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more, draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
I mean, that's
a pretty radical change, from
right? From if you go back, say, 5 years, when Charlie Kirk is Israel #1, that's a very hardline criticism.
So I know we're just reporting we're not taking any value judgments here. We're just reporting the things that we're talking about. I mean, if this was a foreign intel op, it's a true stepping on the rake moment. So
sure. But the point is, you can see that his opinion is shifting. Honestly, this sounds kind of Fuentes-ish.
Yes.
I thought that.
Yes.
I thought those could be Fuentes' words.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you can see how his thinking on the subject has changed. And this is what people are, of course, clipping all these bits out to show, is that Charlie actually has been thinking about this subject a lot. And then you have other ones. I'm not going to play this one because it's a bit more anti-Semitic. But then you get this from Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith is an InfoWars host. But he says, I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Now, this was from August the 13th. So this was a month ago that he had posted this. And you can see why the conspiracy theory against Israel is gaining steam now. Because if you've got these kind of breadcrumbs that are being put together, then you get this kind of opinion. And Harrison came out and said, I posted this a month ago. My source was secondhand. It came up during a conversation about right-wing Zionist influences.
Yeah. I mean, we're not giving an opinion here, but you can totally see why lots of people are going down this route.
This is a popular conspiracy theory online, whether you agree with it or not. So it's important to be aware of it. Jackson Hinkle, one of the most outspoken anti-Israel activists, just anti-everything activist, really. It's the most third worldist you've ever seen. Frankly, he's a lunatic. But he lays out the conspiracy theory in its entirety here. He says, used to be an Israel loyalist, feared Israel would kill him, started mildly criticizing Israel, said Epstein was Mossad, let anti-Zionists speak at his events. Zionist media starts attacking him, someone shot his jugular 200 yards away, Netanyahu tweets within minutes, Pansy gets arrested and acts guilty, assassin escapes without a trace, Netanyahu tweets a longer message, and that's why they think that this is a conspiracy. And, I mean, Netanyahu did tweet very, very quickly afterwards, so before Trump did. And then you have Jewish newspapers and media outlets posting about Charlie Kirk, but also posting that he's an anti-Semite, basically. As you can see here, Charlie Kirk.
I mean, if he's an anti-Semite.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk, conservative activist who considered himself a defender of Jews in Israel, dead at 31. The conservative activist killed in Utah at times faced allegations of anti-Semitism from across the political spectrum, which is kind of a strange way to frame it.
So this. I mean, I guess maybe or maybe not. Probably not. We'll learn more about this angle. I should point out there's been a bit of breaking news on this one.
Oh, go on.
While we've been on air. Samson, I put it in the Studio One link, and Carl, I sent it to you. But
I haven't got Discord on this.
We've got information from Stephen Crowder, and he's citing an email which appears to be an internal message. And it would appear that they've found the rifle. So yeah, it's in the Studio One chat, Samson. But what he's saying here is,
it's already been deleted, Dan. Look.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, Samson.
I mean,
put the link in and it said it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it?
He must have reposted.
There you go.
Here we go.
Sorry.
So basically, he's saying that
I'm just going to read it quickly. The email included a screenshot from what appears to be an internal message describing weapon and cartridges located by an ATF and other law enforcement near the scene of Charlie Kirk's shooting at Utah Valley State University. On September the 10th, approximately 2:24 p.m., conservative political influencers were shot. Skip down. The suspect fired one shot from an elevated position on the rooftop in an adjacent building on the campus, and the surveillance video shows the suspect jumping off and fleeing the area on foot. ATF and other law enforcement located an older model imported Mauser .30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. That seems a bit niche. Like, you'd think it would be like an AR-15 or something, right? But
well, you want a bolt action for one good single shot over distance.
Wrapped in a towel in a wooded area near the campus. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. The spent cartridge was still chambered in addition to 3 unspent rounds at the top-fed magazine. All cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. An emergency trace has been submitted. An ATF SLC is working leads. Joined by trace, the firearm and ammunition have been taken by the FBI for DNA analysis and fingerprint impressions. Upon completion of forensics, the firearm will be disassembled for additional importer information. Multiple people of interest have been contacted or detained because of eyewitness testimony and review of the video footage. Right, okay, well...
So we see how this involves.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you inscribe something on the bullets...
doesn't mean...
That just means that whoever left it wanted people to be looking in that direction.
Yes.
So was it a trans shooter who wanted the police to find this? Because they would have found it, obviously.
If you were an outside agent,
wanted them to immediately go... Yeah, this was a trans shooter, or is this misdirection as well? I don't know.
If you were an outside agent provocateur and you shot AOC, you'd carve a swastika on the, or you put,
or 47 or something. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, exactly. So this doesn't confirm or deny anything. But the point being, again, these are just the theories that are out there. I don't know until they actually catch the person and actually find some evidence about what their actual intention and motive was. We don't know, unfortunately. But, right, we'll leave that one there.